Hello and welcome to the Community Producers. I'm Mark Hanley. We're certainly well into the fall, but as you'll see, our show this week has many traces of the summer of 2017. We're going to go for a ride on a bicycle with a dog. Catherine Temple is going to take us on a very special trip through the Campbell River Estuary. We're going to meet some singers today, a soloist and a group. And at the end of the show, we're going to cross Georgia Strait and attend the Blackberry Festival in Powell River. But first, the Campbell River Museum and a special exhibit about Canada at war.
Is called North Vancouver Island at War, and it's focusing on the First and Second World Wars, the story of what was happening here on the North Island during that time. Because we often learn in school about the European front, what was happening in the Asian front over in Japan and the South Asian seas, but we don't really hear a lot about what was happening right here on the West Coast. So this exhibit is telling some of those local stories. So one of the examples of something that was happening here is the fort at York Island, which is just off the coast of Seward and Kelsey Bay. And it was a large fortified encampment that was used to monitor the waterways heading towards Vancouver and Victoria to protect against Japanese submarines and other ships coming through the area. So they were charged with monitoring all the shipping traffic going through that area. Men stationed there, and they made a large impact on the local community during the war, and their loss was when the war was over was felt with the community social life in the area, with this sudden absence of all of these men that had been stationed there. And some of the buildings are still in place at York Island today, so it's one of our relics of that time, are all the buildings that are still in place there. Cases telling each individual story about some of the things that were happening here. Some of those include the Gumboot Navy, the fishermen's reserve that was active all up and down this coast. At that time, the Navy was focused on the Atlantic coast in the war with the German U-boats and the merchant, protecting the ships going to and from Europe. But here on the coast we were being attacked by the Japanese, and so we needed some defense on the west coast as well, and so they made use of the vast resources of the local fishermen who knew the waterways here like the back of their hand and were fully equipped to deal with the weather and the systems in the water here on the coast. So they were sent out armed with very little, many of them armed with nothing more than a leftover rifle from World War I, to report on any Japanese submarines. There was a lot of really hard, difficult stories to hear as well, certainly especially about a section of the exhibit that highlights the lives of the men who are represented on our community cenotaph. These are all young men who died fighting during the war, and it was important for us to tell the stories of their lives as well. And so I found researching about those men very, very difficult, and there were a lot of tears shed for sure. The exhibit as a whole will be up until November 12th, so do take the chance to come in and see it.
If you can arrange a visit to York Island, do so. I happened to go there earlier this year, and it is a fascinating place. I spent a lot of my working life in the employment training industry, and so I have a natural curiosity about how people earn their living. How's this for a job? Animals, elderly, healthcare, mental wellness, and a bicycle. Let's take a ride on the Love Buggy with Sydney and Chris.
Well, it's just so amazing to be able to get out with people that don't get to do this sort of thing. It just opens up the world for people.
In the Comox Valley, Chris and Sydney offer seniors and people with special needs a chance to enjoy a bike ride. A happy life is a social life, and a bike ride can be a social cruise to health and happiness. That's where the Love Buggy story begins.
My name is Chris Hopping, and I have a business called Love Buggys at lovebuggies.com. And this is my business partner. He's a registered or certified therapy dog, and he comes with me everywhere. I'm a companion for seniors, and I like to ride bicycles a lot. And I thought this would be a wonderful way to share my passion for bicycles and get people that aren't necessarily mobile out and enjoying cycling, being outside, some adventure, get the wind in their hair, and just have fun.
The Love Buggy is a custom-made tricycle that offers freedom and joy to those not able to ride a bike.
It's an amazing feeling, and I wanted to share, so I looked into it and I had this bike built. So being a cyclist, I kind of know what I wanted. I wanted lots of gears. I wanted to be able to ride people up steep hills, and I don't want an electric motor. I am the motor. The bucket seat is fully suspended, so that gives the passenger a nice smooth ride. Also with the shocks, it allows me to go into trails.
Chris is passionate about sharing community experiences by bike with seniors and people with special needs.
I do as many special events as I can. I do all the parades. So I like to get people out that have never been in a parade. I did the Anna ride, and I had one of my clients, she's not mobile at all, and she had a wonderful time. We did a 25K Anna ride. We get to tour places where wheelchairs can't go. We get to go speeds that wheelchairs can't go. It gets people out of their homes, like out of the seniors' facilities. It just opens up the world for people.
Many thanks to community producer Sue Vince for that story. Our first musical story is next. Judy Murakami is going to introduce us to a now local performer, Ryder Bachman.
Here we go, baby, 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 oh baby, oh my baby, baby.
Ryder Bachman is a talented Canadian musician who's come here to the Comox Valley to live. He was born in Vancouver, moved to Winnipeg, but then came back when he was 11 and became enamored with musicians. He's toured with Sonny Rhodes, he's been all over the world, done jazz, blues, rock and roll, and he's here to stay.
Good, Chucky, you know she's really lucky. Oh, my baby, my baby, my baby.
So Ryder, you are a total surprise. When you open your mouth, it's surprising the sounds that come out.
Oh, thank you.
Where did you develop that voice?
Ooh, I guess I've been screaming ever since I was born. My baby, here we go, baby, 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 oh baby, wanna find my baby there. All right.
What do you like most about playing music?
What do I like most about playing music? I really love the feeling of sharing it with people and the back and forth energy that comes with it. There's a big healing aspect of music too, for the player and for the listener. I really like that give back and forth.
Inspiration comes from a lot of different places, and for this song, it came from sitting in traffic in LA.
Yeah, Gonna Find My Baby, that's the first track on our new album. I wrote most of that song sitting in traffic in LA on the 405. It's supposed to be a freeway, but it's really a parking lot. And yeah, I was stuck there one day, having to go to the bathroom really bad, and I had to take my mind off something. I was thinking of all the places I wish I was other than that freeway. So it's kind of a destination song. Out of here we go, baby, 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 oh baby. I'm gonna find my baby, hey, hey, hey.
At the Cumberland Hotel, Ryder plays on Wednesdays with Doug Cox. And if you want to know more about him, you can go on to Facebook, Ryder Bachman. From the Comox Valley, this is Judy Murakami for Shaw TV.
Well, from Cumberland, we're going to go down to the sea, to the Campbell River Estuary with Catherine Temple from Go Campbell River.
From GoCampbellRiver.com, bringing to you the 5 things you didn't know about the Campbell River Estuary. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the week, and we're so fortunate that we can go out for a paddle and do some filming and show you the really special things about the Campbell River Estuary. So number 1, the Campbell River Estuary is home to 124 different species of birds, which is quite interesting because that is half of the entire number of species that we have in the whole area. So the estuary itself is obviously quite rich for the birds, and that includes raptors, gulls, shorebirds, passerines, and waterfowl. So there's a lot of birds here, and boy, sometimes you can hear them. It's just like a cacophony of singing in the estuary. It's awesome. And number 2, back when the white man came, the estuary played a key role in the industrial development of the entire area. With logging in particular, they used to bring in the logs with trains and land them right at the estuary, and then they would float them in the estuary. And they actually built these little outcroppings of land, which we all thought were natural. They're not natural, they're man-made. So they would come in and they would build these things, and this is how they would contain the logs within the estuary itself before they actually shipped them to market. Number 3, the Campbell River Estuary lands, after being industrial for many, many years, there was a whole group of people that got together and said, you know what, we got to clean this thing up. So that's exactly what they did, and it has taken decades to get it to the state where it is right now. As a matter of fact, millions of dollars and tens of thousands of hours of volunteer labor have gone into reclaiming the land and replanting it with indigenous species that were here originally. So what you're seeing right now is not what was here 30 years ago. So number 4, in behind me here are all these little houses on poles. These were actually built for purple martins, which are a very rare and really large swallow. They're rare. You don't see them very many places at all, but there is a very healthy population of them here on Vancouver Island, and in particular in the Campbell River Estuary. And number 5, how the river has changed. Gone from First Nations land use to industrial land use, and now back to nature. And boy, are people ever appreciating the nature around here. You can see kayakers, canoers, people on paddle boards, snorkelers, river rafters, fishermen, and nature enthusiasts. That's what you find on the Campbell River these days. So come on down and take advantage of it all. It's all here. So we've just spent a lovely morning on the river, and I would encourage anyone to come down to the Campbell River, jump on a paddleboard, into a canoe or a kayak, and paddle around and explore some of these amazing channels. And make sure you look in the water, because you can see salmon fry. I've actually seen a couple of them already. We've seen birds, we've seen seals, we've seen everything. This is a great way to spend your day.
Many thanks to Catherine for that story. What a great natural playground. I know I've just put the estuary on my to-do list. We're off to take a short break here, but when we come back, we'll have a song in our hearts.
Request access to air your content on the Community Producers. Volunteer with us. Join a free TV workshop. Check out these websites.
A grant from the Comox Valley Community Foundation will allow Mars Wildlife Rescue to install a solar hot water heater and in-floor radiant heating at our new wildlife hospital.
Welcome back to the Community Producers. I'm Mark Hanley. If you've ever doubted the phrase that music is food for the soul, then just watch this.
Everybody can sing, everyone is welcome.
You are listening to the harmonies of Let's Sing, a community choir with a difference.
Let's Sing is a community choir. Anyone can join. You don't have to be able to read music. You just have to be able to sing. You just want to sing.
There is probably a third of the people in the choir who have never, ever in their lives opened their mouths to sing. I hear the story all the time of it was the kindergarten teacher or the choir teacher or a parent or a sibling who made a comment about somebody's voice, and that was the end of singing for a lifetime. And we reinforce that all the time with people. Oh, you can't sing. No, don't listen to him. He can't sing. But when you come to Let's Sing, you actually can, because it's not about your voice. It's about the voice you create when you sing together.
A community choir for singers and non-singers. And it sounds great. But how does it work?
I think of them as the reset for the body for the week. You come in, for the whole hour and a half you are singing. There's no waiting around, you sing the whole time. That's part of the method that we use here. So you're totally engaged. It's call and response. You cannot do that if you're thinking about anything else. You have to think about what we're doing here in the room.
It's just a lot of fun. It energizes you. You do learn how to harmonize.
There is another factor that makes Let's Sing unique as a choir.
The main difference between our choir and other choirs is that we do not perform, and it just means the music is not geared for performance. It's geared for the people who are standing in the room singing at that moment.
For Shaw TV, I'm Mark Hanley. They told me they'd welcome me into their singing group. I think that says a lot. What a wonderful experience. Thank you, Tina, for that one. We're off now to the Kourtney Museum. Pat Trask is going to bring us up to date on what's happening there, and we're going to take a look at a very special book.
Hi, my name is Pat Trask. I'm the curator of natural history at the Kourtney Museum, and that's where we are right now. We're going to be talking about our new exhibit. It's called Pacific Connections, and it's dealing with Captain Cook, George Vancouver, the War of 1812. All of these events are very, very important. Our exhibit, Pacific Connections, starts with a really interesting book. It's one of Captain Cook's atlases. It was produced in around 1785. I think it was printed right from the plates, the original sculpted plates. We don't handle that book very often because of its age, but it does represent Captain Cook's voyages and him finding Vancouver Island. Okay, so this is inside the big house at Nootka. So this is what Captain Cook saw when he first arrived. This would have been the scene inside of the house. Fish hanging from the ceiling. There's a famous picture of the habitation of Nootka. So this is what Captain Cook would have seen as they came up. The story about Nootka, they say that the word Nootka actually meant go around. Because they're yelling Nootka. There was another better harbor around the corner. Go around. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, that's the story. Check out our website at kourtneymuseum.ca, and you'll see lots of things that we have, past exhibits and future exhibits.
I want to thank Pat for that special look at Cook's Atlas. To have the opportunity to see an over 200-year-old book like that is a real thrill. And I've had many such exciting experiences volunteering for community television. It really is amazing the doors that get open to you. If you think community TV is a place for you, contact us. Our last story today takes us across Georgia Strait to Powell River. Every summer, at high summer, Marine Drive explodes with the Blackberry Festival. Come on along, but be prepared to get hungry.
Ah, the blackberry, ripening in the warm late summer sun. It's a delicious, natural bounty. And it's the inspiration for Powell River's epic annual street party, Blackberry Festival.
It started almost 30 years ago, and it began as a wine making contest and a pie making contest, and it's just evolved into this over the years. So the first year on the street was actually 1993, but it's every year, as you know, it just gets bigger and bigger, and everybody comes to it, so it's lots of fun, and it's a good community builder for the vendors to all get to know each other and for all the people that come.
What does Blackberry Fest mean to you?
A lot. Good food.
It's lots of fun.
It brings all the people back to town to see each other. It's all about visiting with old friends and family. For example, there's 3 weddings, 3 high school reunions, 3 family reunions. So it's just a weekend where everybody gets back together and they all come to the Blackberry Festival.
It's all about the blackberry cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Happy Blackberry Fest.
What does Blackberry Fest mean to you?
Community and blackberries and music.
Hey man, what does Blackberry Festival mean to you today?
I eat on the spur of the moment when I'm hungry.
That kind of works for this kind of a party though,
yeah.
Doesn't it? You can just walk up and down the road.
And if it looks good, I eat it.
Blackberry Fest is basically when Powell River's culture and community come alive. You see so many different cultures all stuffed into one street. It's like walking through paradise. It's fun.
What is Blackberry Festival to you guys?
This. Everybody coming together, talking to each other, having good food.
Well, I'd say, what do you think, Barry?
People have to share something, so that's a good occasion to share it.
Yes.
Pretty much the whole community comes down here and all the various organizations, and it's a great way to meet and greet and say hello to people you haven't seen for a while and let everybody know what we have to offer.
This is the second year the Powell River Makerspace has had a booth at the Blackberry Fest. It has been a fantastic place to see people that wouldn't otherwise come by the Makerspace or aren't within our social circle or the reach of any of our promotional materials. We've been able to demonstrate what we can do with the 3D printers, the microprocessors, and the laser cutter, and show a much wider range of people in the community here in Powell River what they could do with the Makerspace.
What are you guys doing out here today?
Well, we're talking to people about Climate Action Powell River, which is a nonprofit organization here in town that is looking to do some effective work around climate change. Yeah, you asked why we're here. Well, this is probably as good a place as any to be. You know, people are happy, people are open, and they're eating blackberries, and you know, they'll come over and talk to us. So we're having a good time.
It's a good excuse for people to come together and for people to spend some quality time together with their families and friends, and that's very important.
So if you break down, I drive out and find you. If you forget my love, I try to remind you.
On your marks, get set, go!
We're having some fun setting up for the Festival of Lights here tonight. We have a blackberry pie eating contest going on for both kids and adults, and just having a fun evening. We're also selling pies for $5 a piece, and all the proceeds for the pies are going to the food bank. What is Blackberry Fest to you?
Well, I've never been here before, but it means a lot of blackberries, slushies, snow cone, cotton candy, and t-shirts.
Blackberry Fest, Powell River, 2017. Come on, come on. Once in a lifetime, Powell River. We're the fellas.
I guess it's just a celebration of the food we get to forage around here.
Honey, honey, bless your heart. Oh, honey that I love.
It's a fantastic reason to visit Powell River. We're just visiting from Victoria, so I'm loving it here.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is a great place.
And how is the cake?
Absolutely delicious. Best blackberries.
What does Powell River mean to you?
Oh, good community, lots of support for people who need support, beautiful outdoors, nature. I don't know. Great place to be, great place to bring kids up. A little bit of paradise. I love it.
Yeah, the finale is the fireworks that is put on by Quality Foods, and that begins at 10:10. And they are celebrating Canada's 150th, so it should be quite an event tonight.
And gonna get some sleep and get ready for next year?
Yes. It'll all start next week. I get phone calls next week already asking when's the next Blackberry Festival. So it just all starts all over again. So it's lots of fun.
I hope you enjoyed that look at the Blackberry Festival. It really is a lot of fun, and Powell River is worth a visit anytime. Thanks for watching The Community Producers. I'm Mark Hanley.